What's up, everybody? It's Ed.
And I'm Mindy.
And welcome to the Viapree Project. Thank you so much for joining with us tonight.
We're back.
I know we are back. It's been an eventful time with us. We've had some crazy stuff happen. We'll be sharing that here in a moment. But thank you so much for those that are joining with us live. We truly, truly appreciate it. Those that are watching the replay, we thank you again for watching the replay. This is our first stream here in New Mexico and in the new spot.
Sure enough is.
And you haven't been with us in a long time. I've been on with the guys.
Yeah, you've been doing roundtable.
Yeah, I've been doing roundtable, but this time I've been I said, Mindy, you got to come on with me. And so she said, all right,
you said that.
Well, you said that, and I agreed.
Give credit where credit is due.
Yeah, well, we are back at the Viapree Project. We were so excited to be back with you. I'm so excited, honestly, to be back, and especially doing it here. We moved to New Mexico. Mm-hmm. It's a different season for us, but we are getting used to it for sure. But thank you so much you guys that are joining with us. First off, we have some announcements. First off, we are live.
It's been a long time.
I know.
The Live Place, your channel for friendly live streaming. Gonzo, that's how you do it. Just saying.
I don't know why it's not coming off. Let me see how we take this off. There we go. All right, so theliveplace.com. Make sure you go check out the Live Place. That's where you'll see all of our streaming family, those that are part of the chat. Those that are part of our community. They're on theliveplace.com. Dean does such a great job just hosting all of our channels, so go check out theliveplace.com.
It's fabulous.
Also, we have some amazing partner channels, don't we, babe?
We do.
We have Resort TV 1. We got Rob Fuzz, Disney Dan, and Road Trip Dave. They're all amazing. Go check them out.
I miss them.
I do miss them too.
We haven't really interacted with them in a minute.
It's been a while since we've been interacted, been on YouTube in the first place. Yeah. But now we are back.
Yep.
I'm so excited that we're back.
Yep. So is everybody else, apparently.
I'm glad. Well, let's go to the chat. Let's see who's in the chat. Babe.
All right.
Who's in the chat?
Okay, I got to scroll up because everybody's going nuts. The Disney Baker was first in the house.
Welcome.
Donna Droitsky is here. Stacy Rogers is here. Isaac Nail is here.
Awesome.
Avery the Cuban American, my brother from another mother, is here. Samantha Lowe, hey, how you doing? Jonathan Chong, what's up? Jalian Ship is here. Samuel Mandel. Now there's a person we haven't talked to in a long time. Captain Akron 27 is here.
Hey.
It's Joey's World.
Oh,
hey,
Joey's World's here. It's so awesome.
Dad Builds is in the house.
Dad Builds is here. That was awesome. It was great. We had a great show with him yesterday.
Yes, and later on in the chat he goes, "Where's Ed's Lego hat?" Right here.
It's right there. Mindy had it the whole time.
No, you left it on the table. All right, so I said Donna, I said Captain Akron, it's Joey, Isaac Nail, Bloom and Cheesa.
Wow, welcome
best
to the
name
stream.
ever, minus Super Fluffy Yeti, but I miss them. It's Joey's World, Dad's Bill, Donna Avery, Dad's Bill, Charles Weiss.
Hey, welcome.
Long time no see. Michelle the Quilter is here. Candy Mom 15.
Candy Mom's here. Welcome to the stream.
The Hitchhiking Bones.
Oh, wow.
Hey, they said
guys.
So good to see you back on, Ed. This Noah's Adventure.
Oh, wow.
What's up?
Wow.
Anthony.
Anthony's
Pastor A is in the house.
Welcome to the
LSU
stream.
Mom. Hey Emily. How you doing?
Emily.
This our dream.
This our dreams here. Welcome.
Everybody's here tonight, guys.
Wow.
Anna Higente.
Wow.
Why does that name sound familiar?
I don't know.
I feel like I know you.
Welcome to the stream.
Arlene is here. Hi, my love.
Welcome.
This our dreams. Tim Pruitt is in the house, and
Tim.
I think I hit the bottom.
Oh my gosh, guys! Thank you so much for joining with us tonight. It is going to be a good night tonight. I'm going to be explaining what happened to me this past month.
I'll be filling in the details you don't remember.
Yes, exactly. Mindy will be filling in the details, and then we'll play a game depending on how time goes. There has been some announcements that were were mentioned in Disney, so we might talk about that as well. Some things that it might change it up a little bit, but we're not sure 100%. But first off, we're going to talk about me and what happened. First off, I am truly blessed to say that we have the best community.
We really
in
do.
YouTube. And by far, we have the best community in YouTube. It has surpassed support, being supportive. It just feels like a part of the community is family to me. And
absolutely.
And there was no way that well, first off, going through what I went through wasn't easy, but what did make it easy was the community. You guys reaching out to me. And I'll tell you, it's a little emotional. I'm trying not to get a little emotional. But we'll explain it here in a minute. But babe, how are you doing though? How are you doing with all the change now? We're in New Mexico. It's a different feel.
I'm doing great. I love it.
You love it?
I love it. Well, let me preface with I love the lifestyle change. I don't love the environment. It is very dry and hot and dusty. But other than that, I love it. The people are so nice. It's so slow and chill.
Yeah, it's a different environment wonderful. For sure. If you have never been in New Mexico.
Pause.
Uh-oh.
Stacy.
Uh-oh.
Hold on.
What you do?
Hold on. Whoa.
Dream Team. That is right, Stacy. We have an amazing dream team, don't we, babe?
We do. They are fantastic.
That's on me.
Well, I didn't help that.
Yeah, okay.
It's been a minute,
It's been a while.
We have to get back into the
back in the groove.
But they are amazing.
Yes,
Our moderators in blue, they love us behind the scenes. We have not been loving on them. It's been a minute, but we're coming back slowly. They help us out in the chat with all our links and stuff and reminding us of things that we forget.
Yeah, like the Dream Team. But
and wait. They keep the baddie bads out and the goody goods in.
That is right. We are blessed to have our dream team. And thank you guys so much for just being a part of our family, being a part of the channel. We're so excited to be back, honestly. But there's a lot of change that's happened to us recently. This past month has been just a whirlwind of change, and those that have been a part of change, like this, well, maybe not to this extent, but you probably know as well. I know a lot of people in our community that have moved to different parts of the country or even parts of the world, and I could truly now understand. Now, we have never moved, right? We've never been.
No, this is the first time. I mean, we moved a city over, but it's not really.
Over in Palm Beach. We lived in Palm Beach County and Broward, like the line.
We stayed in Broward, in
Florida.
and
but that's like,
but that's not moving.
You can live anywhere in those two.
And you live in South Florida.
And you live in South Florida.
You still have the same friends and your family and the jobs.
We're multiple states away.
Multiple. That's downplaying. We're like across the country.
Yeah, we're two
time
zones away from home, so it's different, and we're far away from Disney.
Oh my gosh!
It has been really, really hard. What?
What's
wrong with me?
I miss Florida. Why? Because I miss Disney.
This is a big part of me, but we are close to Disneyland.
One day we'll get over there.
You'll see us going to Disneyland. Mm-hmm. But first off, I want to talk about what happened to me. First off, those that are here in the chat know that that YouTube is a big part of our life, and I wanted to make sure that I can communicate with you guys to let you know what happened, how things are going forward with me, and the plans, honestly, with the channel and what we're going to be doing. So you ready? You ready to get started?
I'm ready.
So some of you, or most of you, probably know we have we haven't been on any Instagram or any social media at all. That's because a lot of it falls on me, and a lot of it, and Mindy also supports it as well. But I haven't been able to update it because this past month has been absolutely nuts for our family. So what happened and how it all started? It started on our way here, right?
Yep.
It started on our way here, and we were driving, and we had 2 cars that we were driving up here, and I'm driving my car, and I would get like these like weird moments when I was driving, and remember, we're coming from Florida all the way to New Mexico, and it wasn't at first I thought what I was experiencing was like elevation changes, because that's what happens when you come from a flat land like Florida to go across to like where New Mexico is, and the elevation, we're literally came
climbing
from 0 to almost almost a mile,
feet.
Very close to a mile. I think it's 5,000 a mile, something like that.
I'm
we're like 4,000. We're up there.
We're 4,000 something
we're close
feet
to a mile. So I thought while I was driving up here that I was experiencing some changes, but it didn't seem right. But I played it as it's part of the new lifestyle that we're going to be a part of.
Right.
So we're driving up, and we stopped off at some places too. We stopped off.
We had a good time.
We had a really good time. We went up to first we started off in Disney World, believe it or not, right? Yeah, we did. We got to hang out with our friends Gonzo and VP Arlene. And it was just a phenomenal time. And we went to Sanaa.
Yeah, that was the picture I posted of you for Father's Day.
I saw that. That was a great time at Sanaa. If you've never been to Sanaa, the steak is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. It is. It really is.
So, it was really good.
So we started our trip, obviously we're at Disney, and then we had a friend of ours come too.
Yes, Andy.
Yeah, Andy, and those of you that have been part of our channel, you know Andy.
Andy helped us out with our chicken challenge.
He did. Andy came up with us as well, and because we were going to surprise one of our friends that was actually going to work here in New Mexico. His name is Chris. And so he came up to surprise him as well. So from Disney, we drove up, and I started feeling these like weird feelings. And it would always happen when I'm driving, which was a crazy thing. It was crazy.
Wow, that's like very foreshadowing.
Yeah, it's crazy. So every time I was driving, I would feel like my left side was kind of like tilted, but it would come for a second. Oh. Right. It was really quick. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm fine, but something weird's happening. So we would drive again, and we would go to the next city, and we stopped it almost 3 times we stopped. Yeah, I think we stopped. We
drove to New Orleans.
Yeah, we went.
We didn't stop there.
And our first stop was in the end of Florida. It's going towards the West Coast.
Yes.
It was, I forgot where it was.
It was the worst hotel ever. I blame it on Andy. It was awful.
Listen, Mindy's hotel bougie, and I gave Andy the run of go ahead and gain a room, but let's not go there. By the way,
it was the worst.
It wasn't the best hotel, but that night
he picked the hotels the rest of the time.
I did pick the hotels the rest of the time. Then we went to I think where did we go to?
New Orleans.
New Orleans. New Orleans. We went to New Orleans, and I had a little bit of a episode in the car driving, and I was driving too, and thank God, things were going good, but it was just this moment of like, what in the world is happening? Like I remember I told you one time I'm not feeling good, right? What did I say to you?
Everything you just said. You said your eyesight's kind of weird. You described it as being dizzy, and then it came and went.
Yeah, I mean, like seconds. So I was like, okay, well, it's the elevation, right? So we finally get up to New Mexico, and it was about a 4-day trip. 4-day trip. We get to New Mexico, and we do a stream. I do a stream at one of our friends' house, and it was great.
Yeah, you did.
And believe it or not, during the stream, I actually had one.
Really?
Believe it or not,
you didn't tell me that.
Yeah, during the stream, I had one. But I played it off, and that's what happens. Unfortunately, when you're doing something live, we have so many great people here in the chat that, I don't want anything to happen. I want to make sure that I can present the best way that I can, and that's what I did. So I was doing a show with the fellas. I was doing Roundtable, and I had a little thing happen, but I played it through. And so that week was was the first week that we're actually moving into our place.
Yeah, we hadn't even gotten in our house yet.
No, we haven't got into this house that we're in now. We weren't in it yet. And it was the first day of us finally living in it, right? Because we had the house for a couple of days, but we had to move in all this stuff here. And we're about to move in, right? And
we had moved in finally.
We moved in one day, right? We haven't even slept over.
Yeah, we did.
Did we sleep over one night?
The Wednesday night, I think we finally.
No, we didn't.
Yes.
We slept over one night. Okay,
one night.
One night we slept over. Then we had a bunch of people over the place.
He couldn't even wait 24 hours before we had a party at 10 o'clock at night after work.
It was my first day at work, though.
It was your first day at work.
First day at work, and we had a whole bunch of people over our house.
There were like 9 people here at 10 o'clock at night.
Well, that's what I do, man. That's what the Viaprees do. You want to have some fun. You want to come over and hang out. That's what we do.
Oh my goodness!
And it was the first day having people over at our house too, right?
It started off great.
It started off phenomenal. It did. And then what happened was that night it was probably around 10 o'clock at night. I was taking one of our friends home. And when I got out the garage, I got to the car, and then one of those I don't know, instances happened where I felt really weird. Now, at first I'm thinking it's going to be good.
Because it went away all the
other
times.
Like this. But this time it didn't go away. So I started driving, and thank God, everything here in New Mexico where we live is literally close by, like
5 minutes away.
5 minutes away.
There's nothing farther than 5 minutes.
I drive to drop off my friend, and it's still happening. Like, I'm like, what in the world's happening? I get back home, and it took me about...
Describe what you were seeing.
What I was seeing. I was seeing two different views. I was seeing this eye was looking down, and this eye was like looking like this, and I was just thrown off. I wasn't dizzy or anything, but I couldn't really orient my feeling, like where I was at, like everything. Does that make sense? Okay. So I get home, and all I have to do is open the garage, right? Open the garage, walk in, but it took me about 15 minutes to open the garage. And it was surreal for me because I remember, first off, I'm like, I don't know how to open a garage. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And then I get out of the car, I walk around the other side of the car, and I open the door, and I'm thinking, I'm not sure what's going on. And then finally it sinks into my head, you have to press the button, right? And in my car, you have to have the car on in order to press the button. So it's like everything was against me. So I finally went back into the driver's side. I put the car on, pressed the button, and I came inside. And right when I walked inside the house, things started kind of coming back to normal. Remember? I was like...
You were coherent.
I was coherent. It was like crazy. So then I went to Mindy and you're in the kitchen area, and I said, babe, I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling. I think I had a stroke. I think, that's the first thing that came out of my mouth. Now, we had people here. We were watching TV things, and I'm like, so you called your friend. Our friend. You called our friend over. Why don't you tell him what happened there?
Yeah. So a lot of the times with Ed, when he tells me that he's not feeling well, I usually brush it off because a lot of the times it's really nothing, because he tends to panic a little bit and gets. You do.
Yes.
But in this particular instance, I felt in my gut that something was wrong, especially because I looked at him and I could see that his left eye was not aligned correctly. And so I was like, okay, I think he's telling the truth this time. So thankfully, our friends are in the healthcare profession, and she was able to come over with her bag, and she kind of did like a once over with Ed, and obviously his blood pressure was through the roof, which is not unusual for him, but it definitely was higher than it was supposed to be in the stroke zone. And so she had him calm down a little bit. We spent some time with us, and he was talking coherently, and he was able to walk around fine. So we just, without sticking to our gut, said, you know what, let's sleep it off. Maybe in the morning you'll feel better. Maybe it's just your blood pressure is really super high, because he hadn't been taking his meds. I'm calling you out because everyone's going to keep you accountable from now on.
Yes, make sure you take your medication, guys. I'm telling you, medication. No, it's true though. It's true. I've always been slacking on my medication, always, and I've been on medication for the longest time for blood pressure. So this wasn't a new thing.
Right.
The effects was new.
Right.
But my blood pressure has always been high. And so for me, it's like, okay, I have high blood pressure. I don't get headaches. I don't get a lot of other things. But this is the first time it actually affected me.
Right. So we decided to let him sleep it off. Maybe he would, bounce back in the morning, get some blood pressure medicine in him, and things would bounce out. Well, come to find out, in the morning, he woke up okay. You were okay. You were still acting a little funny, but you took your blood pressure medicine, but then you went back to bed and went to sleep again. And so I let you sleep for a little while, but then it was getting kind of late, and so I went to go wake you up, and he was laying funny in the bed, and so I tried to get you to wake up in order to get you to position better, and you were not responding to me in a normal fashion is the only way I can describe it. It was just very, very odd. At one point, I don't know if you remember this, I asked you to move because you were almost falling off the bed, and you kind of flopped over and almost fell off the bed in the other direction.
Yeah, I remember.
You were like a big seal, and you just flopped over.
Everything on that Friday for me was just like up in the air. I don't really remember. I remember certain things that were done, but for the most part, I don't remember anything.
Yeah. So when that happened, I knew. I said, this is hospital. So I called Sonia to come and watch the kids that I could take you, and we had a really hard time getting you to the car. You were walking like you were drunk. You were talking like you were drunk, and it was scary. It was really, really scary. So we put you in the car, and I got you to the hospital, and they did a CAT scan on you, and they found nothing. And so I was like, all right, praise the Lord. It's not a stroke, but then what in the world is causing this? Because it had been several hours. Obviously, hospitals take forever to do things. And you would sleep for long periods of time, and then I could only wake you up for about 5 minutes at a time, and we wouldn't have normal conversations. And this is my favorite part now. It wasn't my favorite part then, but this is what makes the story a little lighter. Yeah. Telling it now. But I was having a hard time getting you to talk coherently to me, and the hospital here in this particular city, not the best. They could probably keep you alive in an emergency. But
that's good to know.
That's probably about it. Anything deeper than, okay, we saved you. It was so. Anyway, they thought that he had overdosed on drugs, like narcotics or opiates.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I do that.
What? I said, first of all, we have no idea where to even get those because we're new.
I just moved here.
Second of all, you don't know my husband like I do. But because they kept insisting that since there was no sign of a stroke, he was showing signs of overdosing. I had to think back. And I remember clear as day at 3 a.m, you were in the drawer and you were messing with your meds at 3 a.m. Yeah. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe in his confused stupor that he was in on Thursday, he took medicine at 3 a.m, maybe a little too much. And then when he woke up at 9 a.m, he took some medicine again. That's super close. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's the overdose. When they're like, no, his blood pressure is too high for it to be that. But I'm like, but we don't do drugs. Like they insisted that you did drugs.
No, well, if I did, I don't remember him. But I don't do drugs.
Insisting.
I don't do drugs.
But so in the conversations that I was having with Ed, so to try to get to the bottom of the story of the meds, I think there was one time you woke up and you asked me about the weather, and you were really serious about the weather.
Is here in
this
town?
Is in Clovis.
Okay.
And so you're like, how's the weather?
I said, how's the weather?
Yes. You were like, how's the weather? I'm like, what do you mean the weather? We're here in the hospital. Like, why are we talking about the weather? And you're like, the bubbles. And I looked at you and I was like, bubbles are not a weather phenomenon. I'm not 100% what you're talking about. So I was a little scared because I didn't know what was going on and why he was talking to me about this. So fast forward, he falls asleep again. And then fast forward to he wakes up a little bit later. And I was like, babe, I need you to explain to me what happened with your meds. You were in your drawer at 3 o'clock in the morning. They think you overdosed. I need to help them that you don't do drugs.
Right.
Did you take medicine at 3 a.m? Do you remember? And he looks at me and he goes, I swear I didn't. I said, well, then explain to me what you were doing at 3 a.m. with your medicine. He goes, I just took it out and I put it on top of the drawer. Yeah. And I said, why? Why would you do that at 3 a.m? And he goes, because Roger Rabbit. And I was like,
I was thinking about Disney.
What?
I was thinking about Disney.
I was like, Roger Rabbit. He goes, the rabbit. I said, I know who Roger Rabbit is. Why are we talking about Roger Rabbit?
We gotta watch Roger Rabbit, by the way.
Roger Rabbit now. So he's like, because Roger Rabbit and the plane. And it just, so the whole Friday was just conversations like that made no sense. To know who he is, when he was awake, it was like the only way I could describe it is he had reverted to that of a 3-year-old. Like he would wake up and just watch the nurses come in with wonder, and the conversations we had made absolutely no sense. I was so scared that you weren't going to come back and be you, and that I had to take care of you in this state, and I didn't know what to do. So it was really, really super scary, but now it's really, really funny, all the conversations that we had. But anyway, so because they couldn't get you, they gave you some drug to try to wake you up, because legit he slept for 24 hours, except for
they gave me like a drug for like,
because they thought you overdosed.
So an overdose type of drug is what they gave me
to pull you out of that stupor.
That's the first time I've heard about this.
So yeah, I forgot to tell you that. So they thought that he had overdosed because of the sleeping.
Wow.
Because we could only keep you up for 5 minutes max. When you did wake up, they're like, this is definitely an overdose. We're going to give him this medicine. It should pull him out of it if it is an overdose. It didn't.
I had an overdose.
So, I mean, it did wake you up at one point for a minute, but then you fell back asleep. Mm-hmm. So because they couldn't figure you out, we ended up being transported by ambulance to the not hotel, hospital in Lubbock. And that's where
That's about an hour and a half away.
That's about an hour and a half away.
That's in Texas.
Yes, Texas. And I didn't get to go. I had to ride behind you with Andy. Thank God Andy came. And it was a huge godsend.
Andy was such a huge godsend.
Because I wasn't by myself. I had someone comfortable that I knew. It was family. Mm-hmm. And so we drove to the hospital. And by the time we got there, you had come out of your stupor a little bit, but you still weren't talking correctly because they had asked you if you drank. And you were sleeping, and I was talking to the nurse, and the nurse was like, yeah, he told me he does drink. And I said, no, we don't drink alcohol. He goes, yeah, he said that he drank with either his sister or his daughter. I said, well, his daughter's 10. So
oh my gosh.
No, we don't drink.
No drink.
So we still were in that stage. But they finally did an MRI on you, and sure enough, it ended up being a stroke.
Yeah.
But the Lord had his hand on Ed's life, like incredible amounts. Like if I didn't believe that there wasn't a God, then there's no way that now I can say that there wasn't a God, because you were driving, first of all, when you had your stroke.
Right.
And you drove all the way home.
Yeah.
In your confusion and with your eyesight the way it was. Mm-hmm. And then they told me that the stroke that you had was the most minor possible stroke that you could have had. So instead of there being bleeding in the brain, you just had a lack of blood to a specific portion of your brain.
Okay.
And they showed us the picture, and it sure enough was really small.
Yeah.
So, and another thing that was a huge miracle is the people who suffer strokes most of the time suffer motor mobility. They can't walk, they can't use their face, they can't use their arms. 0% of your body was touched.
Wow.
All of what was affected was cognitive. And then even in that loss of cognition, I mean, like I said, he reverted to a 3-year-old. And it was really, really scary on Friday, but I stood in faith. And I had everybody praying, from people at our old job, people to our new job, you guys, everybody all over the world, our friends on Facebook, family everywhere. The whole world was praying for you. And I kid you not, the progression from Friday to Saturday, while you still weren't cognitive, because I have another funny story about that, while you still weren't cognitive, the improvement within 24 hours was out of this world, because we could hold longer conversations that made a little bit more sense. And I think you remember some of Saturday?
Probably. I think so.
Some of it?
Yeah.
Do you remember? Okay, so there's 2 really funny stories about Saturday.
Boy.
One is not so funny for me. So he finally stopped sleeping so much. His brain, I guess, got off of auto shutdown and started rejuvenating again. And so we were going through people and names, because that was this story. So it was hard for you to remember people. Like VP was hard to remember. Arlene, you remembered Gonzo.
I remember Gonzo.
Gonzo sounds great.
Is Gonzo here?
So he's in.
I'm sorry if we're not looking at the chat right now. We're sorry. I'll go back to the chat.
We'll
I'm sorry.
read it.
But Gonzo, my man, he's here.
Yeah, so you remembered Gonzo, but then I started talking to him about his kids, and you know what was scary is you couldn't remember their names. You couldn't remember Jordan's name. You couldn't remember Evan's name. So then I decided to go for it, and I asked him who I was. And he goes, "You're Lisa." And I went, "Who's Lisa?" "No, that's not my name."
Oh, man.
He goes, "Well, then what's your name?" And I'm like, "Wow, because my name is Mindy." And he goes, "Oh, that's right." So, yeah, still want to know who Lisa is. Who in his subconscious
I don't know who Lisa is, but
yeah, you say that.
I don't know. But yeah, I remember mildly some of that would happen.
Do you remember my other story that I'd like to share?
I don't know what you're about to share.
Okay, so the food nutrition people came to his room 3 times a day and asked him what he wanted for food. And so this one particular time, it was Saturday, you were getting better, and I was trying to allow you to answer your own questions to get your brain working. And so I sat and I listened, and the guy was going through all his main course and the sides, and then he got to desserts. And he's like, okay, so you can have cookies or pudding, a fruit cup, and something else. And Edson thinks about it for a minute, and he's like, and he goes, New Kids on the Block. I'm sitting there, the poor food guy goes, excuse me?
I don't know what I was thinking about.
I
don't know.
Just give him the cookies.
I was all messed up, man. But go ahead.
But with all that being said, as funny as these stories are now, like I said, it was really super scary because I did not know where you were going to be at the end of all this.
Right.
And so Andy sent me to a hotel that night, and he made me go sleep, and he made me go take a shower while he stayed with you.
Yeah.
And what was really cool is through it all, I don't know if you remember this, but it was it amazed me how intricate the brain is and how some things can be affected, like my name is Lisa, to I asked you if you could figure out before I left how to call me. And instead of just pushing the direct dial button, you actually dialed my phone number.
I did. I remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah,
it was great. I sat there and I'm like, he can't remember my name, but he can remember my phone number.
Yeah.
Just how hardwired that was in your brain. So that was really cool. But anyway, so I got home. No, I got to the hotel and I fell asleep, and you called me at like 3 a.m. And it just made my day. And you're like, where are you? I said, I told you I went to a hotel. Andy made me go and sleep and get a shower. And you're like, I missed you. And so we hung up the phone. I promised you I would come back, and I couldn't fall back asleep. And I remember the Lord telling me, get up and go and pray for him. And I was like, all right, we're doing this. I took a shower, called Andy at 4 a.m. You have 20 minutes. Come and get me now. And he was like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, sir, ma'am. Yeah. And so he came and he picked me up, and I went to war for you for a good hour and a half. And what was so cool about that moment for me is God promised me in that moment that not only were you going to be restored 110% better than how he made you before. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say it on YouTube because I'm claiming it to be true. The next time we get an MRI, his brain cells are going to be brought back to life. Wow. Because God promised me that. He said, not only am I going to restore him 100%, 10%, but his brain cells will come back to life. Yeah. So that is what we're believing for. And in less than a month, you're like 90% there.
I'm back. I'm going through what's it called again? Therapy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so therapy.
I'm going through speech therapy, and twice a week, and they're very shocked as far as my progression so far. I've only been to three.
Well, one 4. Was a evaluation.
Yeah, like evaluation, but like 3 or 4 I've been to. I can't remember how many.
Just
3? 2?
You've been 3 times, but only 2 are sessions.
2 times, and she's very impressed by the way I'm doing, which is a good thing. And I know that it's not me, it's me, but it's God. It has allowed me to become back in a full position of what I was before. And I also got to thank the church that I'm part of here. They've been incredible.
They really have.
And if you don't know, I work at a church. I do a lot of the media stuff, and because of all what's been happening this through this past month. They've been incredible. So I wanted those, and I know some of them are watching us. I just want to say thank you so much for just believing in our family, and just being available, being prayerful, and everything about us. It has helped us so tremendously. I cannot tell you. So thank you again for those that are part of the church family. It's been awesome.
Really, we couldn't have done it without them.
No, I couldn't.
There's no way.
It's one thing to experience a stroke, but a stroke at home is different than being a stroke. Right. We're states away from Florida, which is our home. So this is the first time we've ever moved to a state that we're now living in, and we also had to get used to the culture here. So all this happening is very much of a shock. And we just moved into our house. I was here for a night, and then I go. So, and especially for the kids like Jordan and Evan, just imagining what they were going through too.
I remember the first night you came home, Evan would just give you this side eye the whole time because he didn't know what to expect because they didn't know what a stroke was, and our friend Sonia tried to explain to them a little bit, but they're 10 and 4. Like that's a big concept to understand.
Big concept.
Yeah, when they came home, but thankfully my mom came for a couple weeks.
Yes, thank God for Mindy's mom came, and
she was able to love on the kids.
Yeah, I got messages from the YouTube community, those that are here now. And I got messages from you guys, from VP and Gonzo. They've been so amazing. Talking about, you have to understand, guys, and those that are watching on here, you guys are friends. Like, it's more than just a chat of people. We have friends and family that I can turn to, and it's because of YouTube. And it's incredible because once you get so involved with YouTube, and you may be new, and you're like, oh, these are some people. If you're in this community, these are people like family for you, and it's incredible how much VP and Gonzo, what they've done for me, and even like Rob Fuzz and Disney Dan and Road Trip Dave and Resort, all of them. They've all contacted me some way, and I'm so grateful for it. So.
And one thing I want to say and encourage everybody in the chat is if you don't follow me on Facebook, I'm sorry, I don't accept a lot of people. I'm pretty private on my Facebook. But if you do follow me on Facebook, for those of you that don't, I was posting every single day almost specific prayer requests of your journey, the things that you needed in your road to recovery. And God is so amazing because it took a day or two at the most for every single one of my prayer requests to be, just lost my words, to come to pass. And I don't know about you guys following, because I would always, give praise reports when they did. It was blowing my mind how fast God was answering prayers and how specific the prayers were being answered. So thank you to all of you who were praying specifically, because, yes, we pray and everybody's on the prayer bandwagon, but to those of you who are praying specifically for the things that I posted on that day at that time, those prayers, I think, are really what pushed you through, because God specifically answered all of our needs.
Yeah, it was so awesome.
It's been a really cool eye-opening road to how the Lord moves in our lives.
Yeah. And I also wanted to say those that have been affected by something like this. I know that there's some viewers that watch us that have had a stroke before, or have had some type of brain injury or something like that. Just know that I know what you're going through, and I understand the stress of what can happen, but I also understand what your family goes through.
Yes.
So, and it's not just it affects the person, but it affects the whole family. And I've got to say, thank you to Mindy. Thank you for for loving me. Thank you for everything that you've done for me. It's pushed us to do eat differently, because I've had to lose weight. So I've lost about 15 pounds since my stroke, and it wasn't easy. And Mindy took on the responsibility as my wife to change your habits. And the crazy thing is, food. We weren't eating that bad before.
Yeah, we were.
Okay, we were eating bad, but
we ate out every single meal.
But now Mindy's cooking great at home, and I've lost about 15 pounds already, and the children are liking the food, and finally, but it's not easy to go through something like this. But know that I understand. We support anyone that's going through any type of illness right now. Just know that we understand, and if you need to talk to somebody, we're here. We are not gonna we're not gonna share publicly what you're doing. But if you need help or anything, make sure you reach out to us. I would love to talk to you and be there for you.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, it was hard for me to walk this road, because watching daily where he was hard, and doing all the things that I needed to do to make sure that you were comfortable, that you were eating properly, that you were taking your medicine, that you had that, like I was filtering who could come and hang out and who couldn't, and making sure you had time to relax. And there was never any time for me.
Right.
And while his brain was healing, he was not focused on me at all. So nobody was really pouring into me and saying, you've got this. I mean, there were people, but it just, because I was go, those who were pouring in, it didn't touch the heart because it wasn't coming from you. It really didn't touch the heart. It was just me pouring out. And in my mind, having to really become the servant to Edson, and knowing I love him and he can't pour into me right now, and it's okay. And to be strong for you. So I understand if you're walking through that, because it's hard.
Yeah, it is hard, and I understand that. And now that I'm pretty much back to normal, that I recognized all the support and the sacrifice that you've done for me, and so thank you so much. I love you. I know you're about to start crying, but I love you. I love you so much, babe. Like more than you can ever know, and we're gonna get through this, even though it's still the beginning about it, but it will be done. And I want to thank you guys also on YouTube as well for supporting our family, supporting me, especially Gonzo VP. They've been incredible support systems. Even when we're doing the round table, which we had one last night. Make sure you go watch it. We did a round table, and they did the show without me, but they didn't do it just like
no. They it was so sweet. They texted me, Mindy, is it okay? Yeah. And I was like, yes. Like, why wouldn't you?
It was really good to see them and to do that. And so as of right now, I'm on the mend. I'm on the recovery. I'm on the other side of this thing. I am working on some words. I'm doing pretty well on YouTube, thank God. But I'm working on some words, and I'm trying to use this as a stepping stone for those that have gone this before, like something like this. That kind of gives me an ability for me to share with my story, and to see how I've recovered through it from this point on. So I just want to say thank you. And it was a lot longer than I thought that we were going to talk about this, because I was like,
it's a story.
It's a story, but
and it's got to be shared.
Yeah, it's got to be shared. It does. But so that is where I was at this past month.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's been a month. It's just surreal really, to me. Just everything going on. But thank you guys so much for joining with us tonight. Thank you for listening to our story. Thank you for all your prayers. Thank you for the support. Thank you for those who have contacted me and called me. It is more than you can ever think of as far as support. It really meant a lot to me, the support that I've gotten, and I've tried to watch people's streams when I can. It's been really hard lately for me, but it's just trying to get. It's just we're living in a new state. You know, and it's
new
like,
jobs, new state, new house,
new
everything. Eating habits.
Like, man, and I have, but now I know there's a reason why we're here. There's a reason what I'm here for. Although I miss Florida dearly, I cannot stop. I miss going to the parks like crazy, and it was news today from the parks too. There's a bunch of news.
You said?
Yeah, there's a bunch of news from parks. I can't remember that. It's a lot of shows now.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, but we're gonna come back.
I'm not gonna lie. I was really annoyed that we pulled into New Mexico and Disney that day announces no more masks. I was like, really?
Hey, well, there's a reason, right? But Disney has some really good stuff coming up right now. But thank you guys. Thank you for everybody that's joining us tonight to hearing our story. And I hope that this blesses somebody, to know that a brain injury is for real, and it can take you out, but there's always another side to the story, and I'm blessed that I'm on this side of it now, and I'm excited that I can share this here on YouTube. But how's the chat looking?
I don't know. We didn't really.
We are so sorry. Chat.
We'll go back and read everything because I kind of glanced. But Stacy does have a question.
Oh, okay.
Can I ask what is the picture on the wall in the other room behind Ed? That is our Lion King Disney picture that we've done some live streams.
Yeah, in our old house.
In that room?
Yeah, not in this room.
In the old room.
Our old room, we had a family room, and that's where that picture was.
Yeah, so, it's been on a couple of our streams.
Yeah, it's been a couple.
That I turned my kitchen into a Disney kitchen.
You did? Yeah, we do. We have a Disney kitchen right now.
We don't have a family room, so I can't have a Disney room, so I made it a kitchen.
Yeah, so we have a Disney kitchen, and it's nice. Things are coming along. Our house is nice.
Small.
It's small. We'll be here for about a year or so, and then we're going to be getting our own place. And then we still have our place in Florida as of right now. So we'll be coming back and forth. We'll be coming back to the parks soon, probably in October-ish time. So if you guys want to see us in the parks, we will be back there for sure. I would love to see some of you guys for sure. I would love to hug you and just to say what's up from the Viapree project.
Rayleigh Creative Travel. Look us up on Instagram and message us. We'll talk.
Yeah. So besides that, I don't think we have time for games or anything.
We don't have time We'll do it next week.
Oh my gosh. This is a longer stream than I thought it was going to be. But we did have games. We did have some games that's we're going to ask some Q&A stuff, but we'll probably
Avery, get your line ready for next week.
Yes. We'll do that for next week for sure. And anything else you want to talk about?
No, that's it. I think that was our story.
All right, guys. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining with us tonight. We promise next time we will be back next week, Tuesday. We will get back to another stream. We'll have, first off, Mondays is the roundtable with Gonzo, MVP, and myself.
Wait a second.
What happened?
Next week.
What's next week?
That's the last Tuesday of the month. That's Disney Pins with Donna. Are we doing with Disney Pins with Donna?
I don't know. I can ask.
Donna, are we doing Disney Pins with you? It's the last Tuesday of the month. I can ask and
see so we can go ahead and make sure we are back on our normal schedule is what we're aiming for. But Mondays, you want to catch the roundtable. Roundtable's been great. I've been on 2, believe it or not. I was on this past past Monday, and then the 2 Mondays before. I came back.
Oh, yeah, because we ended up back in the hospital.
Yes, we did. We went back to the hospital last Monday.
Monday.
But it was more for precautionary stuff.
Well, your blood pressure was rising. So he got, his doctor's been giving him a lot of supplements, and the most recent supplements did not affect his body very well.
Right.
And so we didn't realize that it was the supplements, but this is a really cool story. I'm gonna share it real quick. So Sunday after church, we took his blood pressure, and all through Monday it started climbing, and it got to pretty high, like 165 over 113 or something like that.
33.
Some crazy number.
Yeah, some crazy.
So we ended up deciding on our own to drive to Lubbock just to be safe, because he just had a stroke. This is pretty high blood pressure. It could trigger another one. So we drove all the way to Lubbock, an hour and a half away, because that's where his records were. This is where he was seen for the stroke and blah, blah, blah. So they were so busy that it was, some people had been waiting in the lobby for over 10 hours.
10 hours.
To be seen.
In an emergency room, 10 hours.
10 hours.
It broke my heart. When I heard that, I was like, what
there's
in the
this
world?
one poor lady that was sitting in front of us. I was like, they need to get her back in her room. But anyway, so while in the ER, they were taking stats of all the people in the lobby who were waiting, and his blood pressure continued to climb. It got to 185 over 133. And that was when my patience and my kindness started wearing off.
Mindy's Cuban, by the way. So she has natural,
attitude.
Yeah, she does.
So I was trying so hard to be understanding and patient. I got that the hospital was full, so that people in the ER couldn't be transferred to the hospital, so that meant people in the lobby couldn't get into the ER. I understood all that. However, he had a stroke, and his blood pressure was climbing to stroke level again. Mm-hmm. I think this moves him to the top of the list from other people that are sitting in the waiting room who looked like nothing was wrong. So I went and I said, listen, I understand you guys are doing your very, very best, using my I'm really ticked off, nice Mindy voice. And so I was like, here's the deal. And so she goes, no, we know we're monitoring him, and he's getting in the room next. I said, okay, thank you. And so we sat down, and sure enough, 20 minutes later, they had him in the back.
They had me in the room.
But,
sorry.
Alexa,
stop. Sorry. I have to take my pills.
So about 20 minutes before I accosted the front desk, I had posted on Facebook that we're back in the hospital. Please start praying again. And I am not kidding you, with God as my witness and with Edson as my witness. 185 over 133, stroke level, blood pressure. We get finally back into a room. They didn't do absolutely anything to him except for hook him up to a blood pressure machine, and his blood pressure dropped from 185 over 133 to 150 over like 100,
right?
Which is not too far off from where he's been hovering recently,
right?
And we both
dropped
it dropped again to his normal where he's been camping out without the hospital doing a single thing to him. Yeah. And I'm like, you cannot tell me that there is no God from almost stroke to no stroke.
Yeah.
In 10 seconds or less.
It was crazy. So that was
anyway,
last Monday.
That was Monday.
That was last Monday. But I'm back. We're back at it. We're gonna go strong. We'll be back on Tuesdays. Mindy's gonna be joining with me. And we're gonna be.
You act like I'm new.
I do. I feel like you're new, but we'll be back. We'll be back Tuesdays. Hopefully next Tuesday we'll be able to do a pin show with Donna, and then Mondays we'll be with the fellas for a round table. So thank you guys for joining with us today. Thank you for listening to us. I know we went a lot longer than I thought. I didn't realize the story was that long. So. This is actually the first time we actually shared the story together, right? Share it or
a little bit. Friends came over, but most of them were part of it.
Yeah. So this is the most we spent for a extended,
like actual storytelling.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much. We're so blessed to have an amazing community, amazing amount of supporters. We feel the love. I feel the love for sure. We will be back for sure. And is there anything else you want to say?
No, that's it. You guys are the best.
You guys are the best. Before I go, I want to just give a shout out to our partner channels. Go check out our partner channels.
Yay.
Resort TV 1. We got Rob Fuzz, Road Trip Dave, and Disney Dan. Go check them out. Also, go check out theliveplace.com. That's where you can find all your family-friendly live streamers. I feel like, are you when I say it, you sing in it? Is that how it works? I don't know.
Don't you remember?
I don't remember.
Okay. I don't know what you do or don't these days.
We will be back next Monday for another roundtable. You don't want to miss it. Trust me. It is fun. It's one of the best that I've one of the best shows that we've ever done, as far as a bunch of us, a group of us, with VP and Gonzo. It's just been a phenomenal time getting these guys together, and we have so much fun together. So make sure you go check out the Roundtable on Mondays at 9:30 Eastern Time, and then we will be back again next Tuesday for Pins.
Mm-hmm. See
at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We love you guys. We have a saying here in the Viapree Project, and that is remember to always dream big
and do big things.
All right, love you guys. See you later. Make sure you go check out. I think Hitchhiking Bones are on.
It's possible.
They're on. I'm sure they're on. They have to be on. Please.
They're always on after
they're
us.
On. Make sure you go check them out. Love you guys. Take care. Bye.